Hello, friends. Happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gerza. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I am all about the fabulous More Than Autumn bundle from the Stampin' Up! 2024 Holiday Catalog. Now, this is a bundle that I knew I absolutely had to have as soon as I laid eyes on it. There are some products, you have to think about for a little bit, but this was one there was no doubt it went straight into my cart as soon as I saw it. It is so much fun. If you like all things pumpkin and pumpkin spice, or all things cocoa, hot cocoa, or apple, there are so many possibilities with this fun bundle, and you're gonna I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. So I'm going to show you the bundle. I'm going to show you 3 projects today. I'll show you a few more ideas at the end. And I'm sure you're going to see other ideas popping up for me as the fall goes by. I have some cute ideas for retreat favors and things. So stay tuned over the coming months, because this is a bundle that I will probably come back to time and again. But if you are here joining me, let me know that you're watching. Some of you saying hello even before I was on live. Welcome, welcome. Those of us who are watching the live, even if you're joining, watching the replay, please let me know that you're here and you're watching. It's always nice to know who is tuning in and from where. So we've got Gina K and Diana and Jean and Charlie and Crystal. All right. Yeah, Diana, I was the same. I had to have it too. Hi, Wendy from Winnipeg. Hi, Julie. Yep, definitely. Oh, in season. Yeah, well, actually, it could be, this time can actually be a little bit summery too. It's kind of a Calypso Coral, but it's going to match my first card. So yes, it is definitely in season. I agree. Hi, Alexina and Jeanette. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Mia. All right, so let's get to it. I'm going to show you the bundle, and then we're going to get to some stamping. So let me flip to my desk here. Hi, Sue. Welcome. Here we go. All right. For some reason, my camera looks it looks dark. I don't know why. I haven't changed my lighting at all today. I don't know what is different, but it seems dark. But here is the bundle. It's on page 49 of the catalog. This is such a fun, this card here is really, it spoke to my heart. I just love all the things on this sample, and I knew that I had to have this bundle. So I'll show you what it looks like in real life. So here is the stamp set, lots and lots of images that you can have some fun with, and so many sentiment possibilities. I actually should do a challenge on a post and see how many different sentiments you guys can all come up with all of these different phrases and words in the stamp set. But there are lots, and it's tons of fun. So in addition to the awesome sentiments that are in the stamp set, we have lots more in the dies. So there are so many extra dies in this bundle. So we get our open dies, right, that count all of our images, but then we get a whole bunch of additional words. We get a little latte and a little coffee to go in our coffee cup. We get an extra little leaf. So many things you can do with this. So much fun. So let's get to it. I'm going to bring in our first card. Here we go. I think we can all agree nothing's better than donuts. Would you agree? I agree. Nothing's better than donuts. We have a fabulous donut shop here in Cambridge that we love to go to, called Albert's Donuts. And it is so fantastic. We don't go very often because it's dangerous. But anyway, so this card I kind of made with good old Albert in mind. So let me show you how I did it. Oh, I should also show you the inside. So nothing's better than donuts. And then on the inside it says, except maybe you. So let's get to it. Pie might be better. I don't know, Diana. See, I love donuts. I don't mind pie, but donuts are kind of where it's at for me. I don't know. All right, so we're going to start with a piece of Snowy Wonder DSP. So this is from the Snowy Wonder scene. It's got cute little snowman on the back, but I love this sort of wonky plaid that is on this pattern. The best thing about it is that even if you get your pieces on a little crooked, nobody will notice because the lines are kind of wonky. I love that. It's like Stampin' Up! Knew what we need. So the first thing we're going to do actually is add a little, actually no, first we're going to add a label. So we're using 2 different sizes from the Nested Labels dies. So these are an online exclusive. You won't find them in a catalog. So this one is die cut from Calypso Coral cardstock, and then I've embossed it using the Forever Plaid embossing folder, just to kind of tie in with my background panel. So we're going to start by gluing that onto our DSP. I don't know if I mentioned my DSP panel is 4 by 5¼ inches. Can't remember if I mentioned that or not. I'm a little tired today. It's been a little bit of a slog the last couple of weeks, and I'm running on empty. So if I seem a little loopy, that's why. It's just been a crazy few weeks. All right, now I'm going to take and add some linen thread. So I'm just going to cut a length of it, and I'm going to double it because I want a double thickness. So rather than wrapping it around my card front and wasting thread on the back, we're just going to fold it in half and adhere it on either side. So it looks like it's looped around, but it's not. So there's one, actually, let's put this guy on first, and then we'll put our second glue dot on. So here we go. We got one. We're going to run this across, and then I like to kind of hold my thread in place so I can see where to put my glue dot. And that just helps me get it in the right spot. I'll trim off that little bit of excess. Now we're ready to go ahead and glue this onto our card base. So our card base is Calypso Coral cardstock, and it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So we'll go ahead and fold this in half along our score line. Krista, you try to avoid donuts. The only donuts I eat are Albert's donuts. Pumpkin spice donuts from Costco, Diana says. I don't know that I've tried those. Maybe I better not. I love Albert's donuts, but like I said, we only get them on special occasions because they are very large and oh so good. And they kind of ruin all other donuts for you. Once you've had Albert's, you don't want to have anything else. All right, so let's pop this on to our card base here. Whew, didn't do a very good job of getting that centered. Oh well, whatever. And then we're gonna set that aside. We're gonna do a little bit of stamping. So we're gonna stamp our sentiment. It's sort of two pieces because nothing's better than can be used with all sorts of things. And then I've got donuts here, separate stamps. So I'm gonna stamp nothing's better than first because I really need that to be straight, right? It's the one that's kind of block font, so we kind of want to make sure that that's as straight as we can make it. The donuts is kind of scripty, so it can be kind of however you like it. Doesn't need to be super straight. Oh, that was not very good. There's some kind of goop on my stamp. Oh well. Maybe it'll dry better than it looks right now. And then I'm going to stamp donuts in Calypso Coral. So we're going to ink this up. And this one doesn't have to be super straight. Just getting weird bubblies on my stamp there. There we go. Nothing's better than donuts. So now I have already gone ahead and stamped and colored my donuts just in the interest of time. So I'm going to tell you the color palette that I use. I base it all on what is in the DSP. So this one is just dark and light Calypso Coral, and I've used dark pecan pie Stampin' Blends to color the donut part. Okay, so the icing is dark and light Calypso Coral, and then the donut is dark pecan pie. This one is dark petal pink and light Calypso Coral. So you can see it's kind of got a little bit more shading. And then this one is just dark and light petal pink. Okay, so 3 different kinds of icing on our donuts. So I'm going to start by just adhering a couple of the donuts to my label here. So I'm going to put one down here. And then another one sort of up overlapping here. And then this last one is going to kind of tuck in behind. So I'm just going to add a little bit of seal here. And we're going to pop that on kind of like that. Okay, so we just kind of have a whole ton of donuts. So that is going to get popped up on the front of our card with a couple of dimensionals. So I'll add some to my label. Then I'm also going to add a couple to the donuts to make sure that they stay put. I'm going to use some minis on the donuts. So one there, one down there, and one there. And we'll get rid of our backings. There we go. And we're going to try to center this. I'm having a day. Apparently I can't center things. My DSP is not centered at all, but that's all right. We're going to blame it on the wonky plaid. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. All right, so we're going to tie a little bow with our linen thread. So quick little bow. And I might make it a little bit bigger and loopier than my sample. I like a good loopy bow if I can get my linen thread to cooperate. Okay, do you see how that thread was not doing what I wanted it to? So I'm going to iron it with my thumb. I'm just going to take my thumb and my bone folder and just kind of run it along, and that's going to straighten out my thread so that it cooperates a little better when I'm tying my bow. So if you find that like the kinks from being coiled on the spool cause your thread to be a little bit difficult to work with, try ironing it with your thumb, and you'll discover that it does make a difference. It actually really kind of helps. So what we're going to do now, because this is just a little bitty bow, we're going to take half a glue dot and make a little bitty glue booger. So we're going to pop that on kind of where the label and the thread meet, and then just adhere our bow like that. I'm going to trim my tails a little bit. They're a bit on the long side. There we go. And then a little bit of bling, because, you know, I'm me and I like my bling. I'm actually using some peach pie gems. These are from the In Color Gems. Peach pie is not in the DSP, but I just feel like these things work on this color palette. So why not, right? That's the thing about our embellishments. You don't have to have them all matchy-matchy. Many of our embellishments will work with multiple colors. So there we go. Do you like that? Yeah, super simple. I wanted to show you a nice, quick, and easy one to start. Obviously, I sped it up with doing the stamping and coloring ahead of time, but yeah, really quick and easy card. And you could change this out, right? You could change this to nothing's better than pumpkin, and you could have pumpkin desserts. Nothing's better than apple pie, whatever. It's an easy one to change up. All right, let's move on. Let's move this out of the way. So we're going to fast forward to Christmas for a minute. We're going to hopscotch fall and head right to Christmas. So this one says, "You are the peppermint to my hot cocoa." And I thought that was really fun. And then on the inside, it says, "Love you more." So I thought this would be a good card to give to someone special during the holidays. So let me show you how to put this one together. So we're going to start with a piece of Take a Bow or Take a Bow designer series paper. You want donuts for supper? I'm kind of thinking the same, Sharon. And this DSP, it's kind of a sleeper in the catalog. It's one that it's part of a bundle that cuts and creates bows. You can make your own like bows to put on gifts. But this DSP pack is so fun, and you get 12 sheets of each pattern, which is great. If you want to do multiples, it is a great pack. So I'm using this sort of fun green snowflake pattern. So 4 by 5¼ inches. And we're going to go ahead and glue that onto our card base right away. So I'm using a real red card base, 4¼ by 11, scored at 5½. So we're going to go ahead and fold that in half. And then add a little glue. I'm going to use liquid glue this time so that if I can't get it on crooked, I can reposition. Because my goodness, it's one of those days. So we're going to pop that on. Hopefully a little bit straighter than the last one. There we go. And then we are going to layer another pattern from the same DSP pack. So this is like a diagonal plaid. It's got sort of green dots on the back, but I actually oriented it so it's more of a straight grid, mainly to help me get my words on straight. Okay, so use your DSP to your advantage. So these circles are both cut using the Deckled Circles dies. So we're just going to go ahead and layer the DSP circle onto the cardstock one, and then that is going to get glued onto our card. So let's do that real quick. Hopefully get that centered. And get a little more glue out of that guy. And we're going to put this on so it is straight grid lines instead of a diagonal. All right, now we're going to do some coloring. This one I did not color everything in advance. I did some of it, but I wanted to show you some tips for coloring this coffee cup. So let's set these guys aside. So you can see I've already done my red and green. So red cup with the green sleeve. This time we're going to do a green cup with a red sleeve on this one. So I have my Granny Apple Green blends. And I'm going to start by laying down a layer of light. So I'm just going to kind of come across. I'm not going to be super careful or worried about filling the whole thing in. I just want to moisten the ink, or sorry, moisten the cardstock a little bit. And then I'm going to come in with my dark and add just a little bit of shadow around the edges and along the bottom, just like that. And then I'm going to come back in with my light and blend that out really well. Can you hear how croaky my voice is? I've been doing a lot of talking today, and my microphone at school, the batteries died, and the rechargeable batteries that I thought had been charging apparently had not. So I was without a mic for a good part of the day. And I'm paying the price tonight with a bit of a croaky voice. So I apologize. So we're going to do the same thing at the top again. Put down a layer of light. And then come in with our dark. And I'm going to go all the way around across the lip there. And then a little bit below the lip, just to give a bit of shadow. And then again, we'll just blend that out. Green apple green is one of my favorite greens. I love this shade. And I love that they combined it with garden green, which is usually a little bit of a muddy green. But pairing it with the granny apple on these patterns just works so well. Really brightens up the garden green. All right, so now to do the sleeve, we're going to do a similar thing with real red. So I'm going to start with my light real red. And I'm going to come across and just shade in the sleeve. So this is light real red. And again, I'm not being super careful. I'm going to, blend it all out in a minute. And then I'm going to come in with my dark. And once again, this I'm going to be a little bit more careful because I want to get right up to the edges here with the dark. And just add a little bit of shadow. Actually, I'm going to add just a little bit more on this side just to balance it out a bit. And then we're going to blend it. I don't honestly know how we ever colored before we had Stampin' Blends. I absolutely love these. If you have watched my videos for any length of time, you see me use them a lot. They're so easy to work with. All right, so there is our green and red cup. Now to do the whipped cream and the little marshmallows, we're just going to add a little hint of light crumb cake. Because let's face it, whipped cream is white usually, hopefully. If it's not white, you may not be using whipped cream. So we're going to add just a little bit of shadow to just kind of following the lines on the whipped cream. I'll hold that up so you can see it. Can you see just a really subtle bit of shadow there? And then we're going to kind of do the same thing on the marshmallows. So I'm just kind of coloring just sort of along one edge of my marshmallows, just to give a little bit of something to them. Okay. All right. So now we also need to color a little candy cane. I should have done this one in advance because you don't need to watch me color a candy cane, but sadly you're going to. I'm just going to do the green. I'm not going to do the red. I'll do a red and white candy cane instead of a red and green, just in the interest of time, so you don't have to sit and watch me color this itty bitty thing. So I'm just using my dark real red and coloring every other stripe. There we go. Easy peasy. All right. So let's put these together. Now I'm going to add just a teensy bit of liquid glue along the rim of my cup here. And then I'm going to layer my whipped cream on just like that. Oh, that was the wrong one. Doesn't matter. And then we're going to add the marshmallows. Now the marshmallows I did on my cup here, I actually did them on the front, but I think it looks better when they're behind the lip, because if you think about it, marshmallows kind of float on the top of the drink and don't generally overflow the rim of the cup. So I'm going to do it the opposite to what I did on my sample and tuck that in behind. And then we're going to add our little candy cane. So I'll add that on here. Just like that. And then all of these little bits, including our sentiment, are going to get popped up. Now, our sentiment, I should mention, I stamped and heat embossed in white on real red and garden green cardstock. Okay, and then I just started fussy cutting. They're really easy to fussy cut. So let's put our cups on first, and then we will add our sentiment. So we're going to add a little couple of dimensionals here. Oh, now I'm sniffly. I really hope I'm not getting sick. Everybody at school is sick. COVID is going around big time at school, so I'm really hoping I avoid it. I haven't got time for that. Now, I need to mention, on my sample, I used some white glimmer paper. Sadly, it was the last of my white glimmer paper, so we're going to use just a plain white snowflake. The snowflake is die cut using the one-of-a-kind dies from the Holiday Mini. So that's a little bitty bundle, quite an economical bundle, and the snowflake is awesome. So I'm just going to kind of glue that to the back of my hot chocolate cup there. And then it is going to overlap my previously popped cup, but I am going to put a dimensional at the bottom so that it lies flat. So we're going to kind of have this one go in the opposite direction, just like that. And then we're going to add our sentiments. So I'm going to start with hot cocoa actually at the bottom, just to get an idea of how much room I have to work with. Now I'm going to be using mini dimensionals as well as some half minis. That's so I basically just cut my minis in half for these narrow little fussy cut sentiments here. So we're going to put this guy on first, and this is where I'm using the lines on my DSP to get everything straight. So do you see why I turned it so it was not diagonal? Makes life much easier. So for these little itty bitties, I'm going to use just a little piece of the edge here. So we'll pop this guy on. So we've done hot cocoa. We're going to add tumai. And then peppermints. So I'm doing my sentiment backwards, bottom to top. So we'll get rid of our backings here. And we'll pop this on. And I think I'm going to overlap this just a little bit so that it's kind of centered over the hot cocoa there. And then we'll add You Are The. So there's a little bit, and we'll trim a little bit more. There we go. And we'll pop this on, once again, centered-ish over the other words. There we go. You like that? All right. You're absolutely right, Mia. It would be a great card to add a gift card. 100%, yeah. All right, so I'm going to add some of these very hard to get little mini peppermints. So these were they sold out, they came back, and they sold out again. And now they're not due back in until I think early November, late October. They can't keep these in stock, and they're super cute. I can see why. And this is all I have left. I have like 11 left. There's 3 different sizes, so I'm going to use one of each size. And I think they work quite nicely with the sentiments. You're the peppermints. Get it? In my hot cocoa. So we'll add one more. Just there. Get these guys out of the way. And then we're actually going to do the inside because I had a little strip left over. So we're going to do the inside because we can. Except I forgot to mount the Love You More. So we're not going to do the stamping. We're just going to glue our little strip inside. So when you cut a 6x6 piece of DSP into a 4 by 5 1/4 inch card front, you are left with some scraps, right? So those scraps are awesome to decorate the inside of your card. In fact, if you wanted to make this a gift card holder, you could make this strip a little bit wider, create a pocket with it, and tuck your gift card right in there. Easy peasy. All right, let's pop this inside our card, and we will call it done. Because I didn't mount the stamp. I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. There we go. I have to say I'm missing the glimmer on this. I will have to order some more white glimmer paper. All right, so that is card number 2. Hope you guys like that one. Okay, right? How can you not want this stamp set? It's so fun. So fun. All right, our last card, we're back in time to fall because I love pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice it's a season for me, and I'm quite excited that we are in pumpkin spice season. So this one's got a few more layers. This is a little bit more of a Lena card. The other two were pretty quick and easy, but this one's a little bit more involved. So I'm going to show you how to put this one together. So I'm starting with a piece of crumb cake cardstock. It's embossed using that gorgeous leaf fall embossing folder. That is still available. It is an online exclusive now. It was in the last year's holiday, and you can still get it. So get it while it's there, because who knows how long it will last if you haven't already done so. So this is 4 by 5¼ inch crumb cake cardstock. And then I have a piece of the Iconic Celebrations designer paper. This is 3 by 4 inches. And then I have a mat that is 3 1/8 by 4 1/8 of pecan pie. So we're going to go ahead and layer those. It's time for some more Tombow, I think. We'll pop this on here. And then before I put that onto my embossed panel, I have another little strip. This is just a 1.5 by 4 inch strip of the pumpkin pattern, because, you know, pumpkin spice, we have to use pumpkins. So this is going to go on about an inch, 3/4 of an inch, I'd say, up from the bottom. Okay, just across there. So again, we'll add a little bit of glue if it wants to come out of the bottle. And pop this on. Just like that. There we go. And then we can go ahead and add our matted DSP panel. I love this pumpkin pie plaid. It goes with so many things for fall. It's such a great pattern. Actually, it goes with stuff for Christmas too. It's pretty versatile. All right, so there we go. Then that is going to get layered. See, layers. Lena loves layers. I'm going to layer it on a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 piece of pecan pie. Okay. Pumpkin spice and pumpkin pie. Charlie likes her pumpkin pie. All right. I am actually, believe it or not, I love pumpkin spice. I am not a fan of pumpkin pie. There's something about the texture just doesn't do it for me. And I know that that's sacrilegious. I'm just not, it doesn't do it. I don't know. It's not a thing. Actually, I'm fortunate because nobody in our household especially likes it. So we just have apple pie instead for Thanksgiving. We bypass the pumpkin. But pumpkin muffins, pumpkin spice loaf, pumpkin spice latte, love all that stuff, just not the pumpkin pie. All right, we are going to adhere that now onto a Cajun Craze card base of 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. So we'll fold that in half along our score line. And then we're going to, I'm going to risk it and use some seal because I'm almost out of Tombow, but it looks like I'm almost out of seal too. It's time to refill the adhesives over here. We'll pop this on just like that. And that gives us our foundation. Okay. Now I am really liking this label for use with this bundle. So we used it on the first card, and I'm using it on this one as well. I like the long, narrow shape. I like that I can put a sentiment and then add my coffee cup or my pumpkin pie or whatever, and have some real estate still to adhere things. So these labels they're another sort of staple in my stash. Now we're going to color our latte here. And then I've got a whole bunch of little bits. Let me just dump them all out, and then we'll go to town. So we're going to start by coloring our latte cup because we need to have it adhered so we know where to put our sentiment. So this one, I'm actually coloring using pecan pie blends. So similar kind of technique to the first one. Starting with my light layer, just to get that cardstock a little bit damp, which makes it easier to blend out the dark. So sometimes I find when I lay down the light, if I add my dark, sometimes it blends itself just because it bleeds naturally. And you can see that that's happening right there. It's blending quite nicely. If I left it for a while, it probably would blend all by itself. But because we're on live video and we don't need to literally watch ink dry, we will help it along. Okay, so there's the bottom. Same thing at the top. So we'll add a little bit of color here. And then again, a little bit of the dark. Now, I do want to mention, if you have Stampin' Blends, couple of storage tips. So I had a couple of people reach out to me saying that their markers had dried up. And then when I asked them to check, they realized that the lids were not on securely. So with alcohol-based markers, it is super important to make sure the lids are on nice and tight. Like, you want to hear that click. Okay, you probably didn't hear that click because I'm on a headset, but trust me, there was a click there. And if you don't hear that click, it probably means that your marker is not sealing completely and it will dry out faster than it should. The other thing is, when you're storing Stampin' Blends or any marker really, you want to make sure they're stored horizontally. So they're lying flat. You don't want to put them in a cup standing on one end or anything like that, because the ink will pool at one end of the marker and one of your tips will dry out, whichever one is sort of facing up. So a couple of little tips that will make your blends last longer so that you can enjoy them and color all the things. So I should mention the colors I'm using. I'm too busy talking. This is dark and light crumb cake. I basically just pulled colors from my card base here to create my cup. Let's blend that. There we go. All right, so that's all there is to that. Our whipped cream, we're going to do the same thing, just add a little bit of shadow, following the lines on the stamped image. You could probably add a little bit of shading with maybe a little bit of light pecan pie if you wanted to do like a little sprinkle of cinnamon. There's actually a sprinkle stamp in the stamp set, but it looks more like donut sprinkles rather than cinnamon that you would sprinkle on a latte. So I didn't use it, but it is cute. So again, I'm going to add a little bit of glue just to the top rim of my cup here. If the glue wants to come out, there it comes. So we'll pop that on. And then we need to color our little pumpkin. This little pumpkin die cut is the cutest thing. I also need to stamp my pumpkin. Where is my pumpkin? There it is. I like to wait until this is dry. I might just wait a couple seconds to let that ink dry a little bit more before I try to stamp. I'm going to just color my pumpkin using dark Cajun Craze. That is the color of my card base. It's the color of the pumpkins that are on the DSP. So it coordinates. It's quite dark for a pumpkin, but you know, it's our card. We can make pumpkins any color we want. We can make them pink, we can make them purple, and we can make them Cajun Craze. So there we go. There's my little pumpkin. And then we're going to try stamping. I should have stamped this before I colored, but that's all right. Usually, if I have to stamp over top, I like to wait a goodly long time to make sure that ink is dried. So it might smudge just a bit, but that's all right. We'll work with it. And then again, I'm going to come in. Now this is going to be a little bit darker because I've already laid down the crumb cake, but that's all right. There we go. There's my little pumpkin. Okay, now it's just a matter of assembly. So we're going to go ahead and adhere our cup to the end of our label to start. So we're going to just it's going to get glued flat. I'm going to put a little seal on here. And we'll pop this. Yes, Leetta, thank you. Labels are nested essentials. Yep. Thank you for filling in all that information that I missed in the comments while I was busy coloring. You girls are great. You don't need me. All right. So I am now going to add my sentiment. So I'm going to add my pumpkin. Oh, you know what? See, this is why we need to use seal, because we might have to move this guy over so we have room for our pumpkin. So we're going to do pumpkin and spice down here. Okay, they will fit. It's a bit of a squeeze, but you can fit it. I have adhesive sheets on the back of my die cut words. I would not even attempt to fuss with liquid glue with these little bitty die cut sentiments. If you wish to try, more power to you. I just do not have the patience. Adhesive sheets are my best friend. The thing when you're taking them off the backing, you want to just be really gentle so you don't pull and stretch your die cut. So there we go. Pumpkin spice. Yummo. All right. Now, these little leaves are the cutest things, like really super cute. So what I did here, when you die cut, you get, here, I'll show you this one because it's come apart. So you get both the outline and the solid fill-in portion. Okay. The dot on the eye is actually kind of part of it. You see, there's kind of like a little dot. It's not, there is not a dot in the die. It's just kind of assumed that it's there. I'll just show you on the die. So you can see there's no actual dot for the eye on the die on when you die cut it. So I didn't lose it. All right. So now what we're going to do with our little die cut leaves. So I'm going to separate all of these because I want to have different colored centers with the outlines. So I'm just going to pull these apart. You just want to be gentle so you don't stretch them. And I'm actually going to put them upside down. And you'll see why in a sec. So I'm putting them wrong side up. And what do we need? We need one of these guys too. So I'll just pop these little guys out. And then I'm just going to kind of mix and match. Okay, so I'm going to put a Cajun Craze one in a Mossy Meadow outline. And then I'm going to put a Pecan Pie in a Cajun Craze outline. Start with those two. So I'm just going to kind of lay them in there like a little puzzle piece. And then I'm going to use a mini dimensional just to kind of secure it into place. That's going to kind of hold those two pieces together while I adhere them to my label. So I'm going to go ahead and add some seal to the back of my label here. And then I'm going to come in with my two little leaves and adhere them to the back of my label. Now you could probably get away with a little bit of tape to hold these in place, but the dimensionals work because we're going to need dimensionals to pop it onto the front of the card anyway, right? All right, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to add these larger dimensionals to our label here so we can adhere it to the front of our card. And one more here. And we'll get rid of backaches. Thank you, Leatta. It's nice to be needed. I appreciate that. I appreciate also those of you who are answering questions that I'm missing as I'm stamping away here. All right, now there are a number of ways that you could do this. If you wanted to have your sentiment and your label centered over the DSP, you could put this nice and low or put your DSP up higher. I wanted to see some of that DSP peeking out, so I'm actually going to put this up fairly high on my card. Okay, because I wanted to see that. I also need to make sure I don't put it so high that I can't fit my you had me at. Okay, speaking of that, we're going to go ahead and stamp that. So this is just a 1/2 inch strip, 1/2 by 2.5 strip of pecan pie. Too many pies. Peach pie, pecan pie, pumpkin pie. Makes me hungry. We're going to stamp that just in Memento Black. So I'm going to stamp "You Had Me At" on my little strip here. Sorry, I have to move this a little closer so I can see what I'm doing. There we go, crooked and all. And then we're going to trim our ends at an angle. So what I like to do, start at one end. Okay, then I'm going to take that little scrap and I'm going to slide it down here. What am I doing? Turning it this way. No, I'm not. I'm turning it this way. Wow, it's hard today, girls. It is hard. And then I'm using that as a guide so that I get the same angle on both ends. Okay, now that's a little long, so we're going to move this over. There we go. That's better. You had me at. Okay, so then we're going to add a couple more little leaves to the back of our label here. So we'll get rid of this frame and we'll put that inside a Mossy Meadow. So let's pop that out. So same thing, we're going to flip this over and add that. And again, I'm going to use my little mini dimensional to hold it in place. And then we'll do a Mossy Meadow center in a pumpkin pie frame. Here you go, little guy. There we go. And oopsie, got 2 for 1 there. We'll pop that in there. And then those are going to get adhered to the back of my little sentiment strip here. So again, I'm going to add a little bit of seal. And I'm going to go one here and one kind of there and hope that that sticks. And then I'll add a couple more dimensionals, or maybe just one more, to the back of my little label here. And then that is going to get popped on to the front of my card. Oopsie, see, it didn't stick. It'll stick once it gets stuck with the dimensional. It's just sticking to my finger right now. Okay. Oh, goodness me. I am butterfingers today. We're going to tuck this. You know what? I'm going to put this kind of here because it's not being very cooperative. So there we go. You had me at pumpkin spice. We're going to add our little bitty pumpkin onto our label. Can I marry you? I'll pop that on right about there. And then we're going to add a couple of gems. There they are. I don't have a lot of these left. These are the faux glass gems. Also not available at the moment. These ones are due in fairly soon, I believe. So I'm going to add a couple of these little guys. These are from the Autumn Expression suite that I featured last week, but they go with anything fall. So there we go. Got a couple extra leaves. I could decorate the inside of my card if I wanted to. On the inside, I added "You're the Best" and my little pumpkin. All right, you like that one? So much fun. Lots of little fussy bits with this bundle, but they're so fun to play with. You can do so many cute things. So let me bring back the other projects from today, and then I'll show you a few more ideas. You suffer withdrawal. Oh, goodness. Okay, well, I will try not to take a week off for the foreseeable future. Okay. It's good to know that you missed me. All right, here are a few more ideas. This is one I posted earlier today with all the pumpkin things. So pumpkin spice donut, pumpkin pie, pumpkin spice latte. Used a little bit of the Regal Floral Designer Series paper on this one. And then again, my fun Forever Plaid embossing folder. And then this one's actually going to be featured in my card buffet this week. This one is from the online exclusive coffee suite, the DSP. It works really nicely. So that is that one. And then here, this was a super popular bundle for swaps. So I got several swap cards that use this bundle this time. So here is Love You More Than Peppermint Hot Cocoa. Super cute. Here they paper pieced the sleeve in more of that Take a Bow DSP. And this one, Love You More Than Pumpkin Spice Latte. Super cute. And then this is just a simple fun fold, but really fun. This calls for pumpkin spice. Just a simple Z fold. And then here's another donut card. What's not to love about donuts? Nothing's better than donuts. So there you go. Some ideas and inspiration using the Fun More Than Autumn bundle from the Stampin' Up! 2024 Holiday Mini. You like those? All right. Good. Yes, we are in the first few days of autumn, aren't we, Jean? Okay, I'm going to go back to me so I can say thank you for watching today. I apologize for being a little bit loopy. I'm very tired, but I will be back next week. God willing and the creek don't rise. I will be back next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Thank you for joining me today. Have a great week. Bye for now.